Oh, we're back again. Wait. Yoko,
Yes.
you work in film.
Yes.
Yeah, and John has referred to you somewhere.
We both do, actually. But,
both of you.
Yes.
But John said somewhere that you were one of the best unknown artists in the world.
The most famous unknown artist in the world, she is, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she's been in the so-called avant-garde world of New York for almost 15 years, producing...
How many?
15 years, about.
Well,
it's a long... 10.
Sounds like
something like that. And she was quite an established artist before she met me, and then once she met me, then she became Mrs. Lennon. And... that's when they started calling her a Japanese actress, you know, when in fact she never appeared in any movie up till then, and really, but mainly, and she'd been directing movies and having gallery shows and theatre shows and things like that, and then it got swamped with Mrs. Lennon, but now it's just about turning around. People are realising that she's an artist in her own right, but she's still the most famous unknown artist. Yeah. Do you want to comment on that?
That was brought up because of this film that we're going to see.
Yeah, we have a piece of a film that you did. It's not, maybe the most famous film you did was one called Bottoms.
I think so.
Bottoms, which was in fact a film of bottoms.
It was called Number 4, actually.
Yeah.
364 bottoms, 5 bottoms, that was it.
364 or 365?
365 bottoms, one for each day of the year.
Day of the year, yeah.
But it actually didn't contain 365 because I thought, well, nobody's going to really... It's a conceptual number, you know, and they couldn't possibly count it, so...
You mean that in some cases the bottoms were the same one
no,
posing as other
bottoms? There might
bottoms?
be about 100 in it. You see, the interesting thing about the film is all the bottoms were the intellectual and artist people in London. And the soundtrack of the film is all of them trying to explain and be very uncomfortable about why they're taking the trousers off. Some guy saying, well, I normally do Shakespeare, you know. And then you see his bottom just, and it's not cut to each bottom, but the whole screen is just 2 bottoms to each side of the buttocks walking like that. Yeah. And all these comments are saying, well, you know, like I normally do Shakespeare, and what's it all about, and the real philosophy about taking your trousers off, and they're all jabbering on like that.
They were intellectuals, so they just had to sort of rationalize it somehow, you know, so they'd bring out Gurdjieff and Sartre and everybody out, you know, before they just take off their pants, and it was really funny. But the point was that I was asking to look for intellectual bottoms, you know. They have
intellectual bottoms,
yes, yeah. And so they would say, well, is this intelligent enough or whatever, you know. And when you look at it on the screen, it's just all the same, and that was the point, you know.
There's a show here called New Faces. What would you call... Well, never mind. Can we take a look at the piece of film you have?
Are you going to explain about it?
Tell us what we should
quickly
look
say
for.
that this is a female lead film in sort of a quiet sort of way. And it's like a diary, you know. It's about a woman who's naked and who's lying down. And the fly sort of crawling over her body. And later it gradually becomes 4 and 5 flies all crawling over her body. And the message is like, you know, there's lots of things in it and all sorts of level of understanding, I'm sure, but it has something to do with, you know, a life of a woman who is more like taking it rather than, you know, doing it positively. The fly is crawling over you and just taking it, you know.
Passive woman. Let's take a look at that. Oh, we'll take a look at that in exactly 6 seconds because the film has a certain amount of
exactly 6 fingers time. We'll look at it.
About now.
Take me away, 'cause I'm going.
That was. There's more to the movie, of course. That was
It
only.
goes from head right through
Now,
up to the
never
toe and back
mind.
again. From head to toe.
Oh yeah.
And you notice the women always giggle. It was shown at the Cannes Film Festival, and it got an ovation, believe it or not. And but the women always giggle like mad, especially as it's getting higher.
Yeah.
Cut it just before it was getting very interesting, you know, I mean, sort of.
It was just getting
Well-
interesting, but of course we're on TV.
Yes,
aren't
this
we?
is television
I mean,
after all.
this isn't Channel 13, is it?
I didn't even know you could.
More! Steady rolling. Aye, aye. I don't wish to know
When the censor found out the movie was called The Fly, you can't imagine what he thought.
Imagine.
Maybe you can. The
a
Fly.
good
You must
joke
have
when the
done an
album's
enormous number of retakes to get The Fly to do.
Well, we had an enormous number of flies. In fact, the credits are almost as long as the film because there's so many people catching flies from the back of dirty New York restaurants and things like that. And then we were catching them in the room.
Yeah.
The girl was very good, and her
Who
name
was
was
that?
Virginia Lust.
Virginia Lust,
Yeah.
L-U-S-T?
Yeah, L-U-S-T. Get out of that.
Did the movie lead to other roles for her or The
Well,
Fly?
I should hope so. Well, I think
Well,
it will.
after 2 years of making movies, we made about, say, 12 together and apart. And we finally got deals here with people called Genesis in America and somebody else in Britain. And they'll be going around all the different colleges. So before our films haven't really been seen, so nobody really knows that we're filmmakers. Yeah. We've had them in Cannes Festival. They did all right in there. We had them in the Edinburgh Festival. There's a chance they're going in the New York Festival. They're definitely going in the San Francisco Festival. And they should be later this year starting to, about 5 of them probably will tour America. So then...
So you're serious about film?
Oh, sure. Film is, well, it's like recording only with your eyes, you know. You just make it visually and it's just as interesting. And to combine the both is really interesting.